And the final section, which is the biggest section, is all about using the journal. So at this point, you've created the identity for yourself, which is your highest level affirmation. It describes who you are. You've then created some goals that are in alignment with that identity, and you've got a list of actionable steps. So the journal, this is where we start working on daily progress. We're going to break those goals down into manageable steps, and we're going to form new habits and start chipping away continuously using 3 things a day, working towards your goals. This is going to help you confirm and live that identity every day. The first decision to make is, do you want to journal once or twice a day? This is a personal choice. Obviously, the journal is set up in 2 parts. You've got the first section, which is the intent, which is generally done in the morning as part of a morning routine. And the next part is the reflection on the day's events, which is generally done after the day is finished, maybe on an evening routine, but you can journal once or twice a day. So if you journal twice a day, you're going to have a morning routine where you complete the intent, and then right before bed you've got the reflection where you're reflecting on the day. That's when you're journaling twice a day. If you're journaling once a day, you're going to complete these in the reverse order, because if you journal at night, let's say you're going to journal once a day and it's at night just before you go to bed, you're first going to complete the reflection for the day that you've just had, and then you're going to complete the intent for the following morning, for when you start the next day. If you journal once in the morning, you're first going to complete the reflection for the previous day, and then you're going to create the intent for the next day. However, if you can, it's always better to journal twice a day, but the choice is entirely up to you. So the intent first starts with a gratitude section. Gratitude is really important. It's always good to be grateful for what we already have. So you've got the space here to write down 3 things that you're grateful of. You know, sometimes I write things like, I'm just grateful to be healthy, you know, and have a functioning body. You know, I'm really grateful of that. I'm grateful to have a nice, comfortable house to live in, nice, comfy bed, things like this. Or maybe just simple things like listening to the birds in the garden. Always something to be grateful of. So write them down. The next, this is where you're going to pick from your goals now. These are the 3 things, your top 3 things that you're going to work on today. And just remember, your goals, they don't need to be about work. I wouldn't fill this with work items. You know, you want some personal goals in here, whether that's about spending time with family, health and fitness, training, something like this, or maybe you're going on holiday or something like that. It's also personal things as well as professional things. So the way to fill this out is the 3 small things that you do a day. You're going to write the goal ID down on the left hand side if it's from your goals. So here we've got the example 1A, that means goal 1, item A, book an appointment with the bank for the loan. So on the right hand side, you're going to fill this out in the morning, and then for each of your items, and then on the right hand side, you're going to tick them off as you do them. So it's quite simple. Bearing in mind, you can use this for items that are simply not on your goals. So if you've got, like there's an example at the bottom here where it's just goal number 3. It relates to goal number 3 because you must have a health and fitness goal here, but it's not a specific line item, so that's okay. But even if it's not about any specific goal, you can still fill it out. There might be something ad hoc that you need to do that day, and that's fine, and it's just about holding yourself to account. So fill that out. How long should you spend on these? Well, you should spend anywhere between 20 minutes and 1 hour on each of them 3 items. That's the size of those tasks. Let's say item 4C there, the second one, in your goals actually takes you 4 hours. You're going to do 1 hour here, right? And then maybe an hour tomorrow. And I mean, it's entirely up to you, but you only need to work on 3 small things a day. It's about continuous improvement. Finally, in the intent, there's space to write some affirmations. And this is really important because positive affirmations all about state management. And if you think about setting your intent in the morning, always want to approach the day with a positive state, right? And this is something I did a video on this called the 2 things that all successful people do. The first thing was they're always prepared to do the things that other people are not. So that's going back to doing the 3 things a day. They work on the goals. And then the second thing is they never use negative self-talk about themselves. This is really important. A lot of successful people like Tony Robbins, he calls it priming in the morning, what he does. And it's all about state management. So you want to start the day with a positive state, and that's what affirmations are about. So write something positive there about yourself. The next section is reflection, and this is also known as the evening routine. So this is best completed right before bed if you can. But of course, if you're journaling once a day and in the morning, you're going to do this as soon as you get up. But ideally, you would do this right before bed, because there's something about reflecting on the day as the last thing that you committed to your subconscious before you go to sleep that really allows it to bake in, and all the continuous improvement really works better that way. So the first thing you're going to do with the reflection is you're going to tick off all the tasks from the intent, those 3 things a day. Tick off anything that you've completed, make sure that's complete. If you haven't quite completed something, that's fine, but at least you're holding yourself to account. And then the next section, which is actually the first section in the reflection, is the noteworthy wins of the day. This is a good section because you can actually use this to write down anything else that you've done. Maybe you did something over and above that was about another goal. You can put that in here. Or maybe it was something completely unrelated to a goal. It could be, you helped a neighbour or something like this. Write that down because it's still a win for the day. And you can also use it just to record anything else that you consider as a win for the day. It's all about celebrating daily wins. The final section on the reflection is, how can I improve? This is about correction. This is really important for you to hold yourself to account. It's not here to sort of criticize yourself or anything like that, but you've got to be brutally honest with yourself, whether you stayed up too late, or maybe you, here now we've got stop drinking coffee after 4 p.m. as it's affecting my sleep. That's something I've suffered with. Or maybe he's had an argument with a family member. You can get vulnerable here. This is the area where you get vulnerable, and it's the last thing you do before you go to bed because it's about correction. At the start of each week, there is a section to create a habit tracker. And these are the repeatable actions. They don't go in your 3 things for the day in the intent. These are just your general day-to-day things that you're likely to do as repeatable habits every week. So at the start of each week, you've got a section to plan out the week, but you've also got a habit tracker. In the habit tracker, this might be, we've got some examples here. So it might be you're going to wake up at 5:30 a.m. every day, you're going to exercise for 30 minutes, and you're going to read 10 pages of a book. And all you do with the habit tracker is just put those things down, tick off every day, and it's just another way to check your continuous weekly habits. Throughout the journal, there are 3 areas of contemplation. You've got the first week, where you're going to contemplate about how your first week of journaling went. You're going to capture your thoughts and experiences. There's a 3-month contemplation, and this is a great step for, usually within 3 months, you're noticing some change. You may have not got the full results, but 3 months is certainly long enough to form new habits, and you really should be starting to feel the benefits. The 6-month contemplation at the end of the journal, this is where you start recording all your wins for the complete journal, and this is where you'll start really seeing demonstrable progress. So what does it look like? Okay, this is a summary of the journal page. As you can see here, you've got the intent section at the top. This is how the journal entry page looks. And down at the bottom, you've got the reflection. So if you think about the intent, first thing to do is just write today's date down. Then you're going to fill out the 3 things that you're grateful for. You're going to enter the 3 small things that you're going to work on today. These are the top 3 things that you do today. This is not a complete to-do list. It's just the top 3 things of the day. And these you're going to spend anywhere between 20 minutes and 1 hour on each one. And then when you come to do the reflection, you're going to record any noteworthy wins of the day. Here we've got an example which is not related to a goal. It's just, this is where you got the opportunity to write down anything over and above that you've done, or celebrate any wins from your 3 things a day. And we can see one of these is not related to any goal, but it was still a noteworthy win. So I helped my mum fix a flat tire on her car. You can't plan for these things, it just happens, but you were there to save the day. And then lastly, you're going to record how can I improve. So that's what a daily entry page looks like. And the first section is committing to journaling for 1 week. So if you remember, it's always good to write a little reward here. Maybe you're going to reward yourself with, I don't know, some ice cream, or buy a new dress, or maybe you're going to buy yourself a watch or something like that if you complete journaling for 1 week. If journaling's new to you, it's always good to attach a reward to it, because reward is very good for continuous improvement. Our brain has something, there's something there that once we give ourselves a reward, we're more likely to do it. It's like positive reinforcement. So give yourself a little reward there. So the first week, or all the weeks, they start with the focus of the week. So this section here is where you're going to quickly record. You're going to write down, it's like a notepad. You're just going to look at what goals you're going to focus on. Just write some notes down. If it relates to a goal, put it in the goals ID column on the left, and then fill out your habit tracker. And obviously you're going to refer back to the habit tracker to tick things off as you move in. So this is for this week commencing. Every week gets a focus of the week. And then on the right hand side, you're going to start your first daily entry. So enter today's date, fill out the gratitude section, fill out the 3 small things I will do today, fill out the affirmations, and then obviously when you come to do the reflection, you've got the noteworthy wins and how can I improve. And there are 7 days. And then you come to the first contemplation after your first week. This is where you've got to just enter some reflections. How do you feel about journaling? How does it, how did you manage to stick to your habit tracker? How did you perform in terms of staying consistent on your 3 things a day? And then we get to the full journal. So from here, we have focus of the week again. So you're going to complete that. You're going to complete the habit tracker. And then you're going to start with your first daily entry. And it will repeat again for 7 days. And then you'll be back to a new focus of the week. Eventually, when you go further down, we will get to 3-month contemplation. This is similar to the first week contemplation, but this time you'll have a lot more information. Maybe you've noticed some big changes, you've formed some new habits. You need to record all of that here. So write down a reflection of how your first 3 months have gone, noticing any changes. And then we're back into focus of the week again for another 3 months. And on each of these journal entry pages, there's always a quote at the top, an inspiring quote. And what I do when I see one that I like, I just circle it. Always it's just one that I particularly like and helps it bake in the memory. So once you've completed the full 6 months, what you will get towards the end, within 2 weeks to go, there's just a little reminder to go and get yourself another copy. The last 2 weeks got the 6-month contemplation. So this is at the end of the journal. This is structured slightly differently because by this point you should have got some results. You'll notice some results, and all you do is record your wins for the whole journal. It's really good, this section, because if you fill this out, so what you do is you enter the goal number and just write down everything that you've achieved. So maybe, in the example that we had, the professional example was make 50k sales in 6 months. If that's achieved, write that down. That was goal number 1, but I managed to achieve 50k sales in 6 months. Maybe you delighted all of the clients, or maybe half of them were good, half of them were bad. Just write everything down, everything relating to that win there. And this is really good because every time you complete this journal, you want to keep them and archive them, and then you can always refer back, because This summary page in the back will give you a great kind of summary of the whole performance of this journal. Obviously you can read the whole thing back, which is what I like to do, but just recording all the wins for this current 6-month journal will really help you in the future when you come to review back. And that completes the journal. At this point, all you have to do is go and get yourself another copy.